Okay, everybody, welcome back to the show. Busy day around here. We've got drinks, we've got dogs, we've got real estate addendums. There's just all kinds of wild, wacky shit that's happening. And we do thank you for tuning in. The bourbon of the day today would be Maker's Mark, and I will be the first to admit I used to think that Maker's Mark was a bourbon that was like $7 and it was probably shit just because I'd seen it all over the place, and it's really not. That said, I'm still sorting out my feelings for it. I largely bought it because I was reading some articles on a Sunday, which tells you how my social life is, and it was talking about how it was like, sweeter and everything, and I'm a sweet tooth guy. So I'm still sorting out how I feel about it. There's only one way to really know, and that's to continue to drink it. So that's what I'm doing here today. Speaking of today, the subject for today's video is going to be on escalation clauses. We're going to bring you some basics for the first-time home buyers, but we're also going to talk about some real-time, relevant current events. And a big hot topic around the water cooler of real estate these days is escalation clauses. And I have very, very mixed feelings on them that lean towards the side of I don't think that you should be doing them. So let's talk about this. And for those of you that, want these videos to be 30 seconds and you learn all the information in the world, well, that's just not how planet Earth works, So this is a little bit more of a longer form show. Well, we sit together and we have a drink and we talk and you learn about some stuff. Now, escalation clauses. So still sorting out how I feel about this. What is it? So an escalation clause essentially is the best way I can describe it, and this is how I've described it to my buyers who have brought it to my attention of like, hey, should we do this? It's competitive, and I know people are doing escalation clauses because Zillow told me. Think of it as eBay for homes. That's about the best way that I can put it. Essentially, you're creating a bidding escalation system. Now, we'll go down the rabbit hole, and I'm going to kind of go through what this one says. Now, in Utah, which is where I am, there is no state form, right? For, if you're newer to the real estate world. So most of us as agents, if we say, hey, we're going to go write a contract, we're really not writing a contract. We're filling in blanks. Okay. But, at least in Utah, and I'm going to assume it's pretty much the same in every other state. There are state approved forms, right? This is the form that you have to use, and all the language is written for you. All you're doing is filling in the blanks in terms of, well, we're offering this number and we have this contingency, or there's this addendum attached, or this timeline, or whatever it is. So in Utah, there's no state approved form for an escalation clause. So I reached out to my broker at, the brokerage that I'm attached to, and I just said, hey, I'm getting a lot of questions about these. Is there a state form? Because I'm not seeing it. The response was, no, there is not, but it is happening so commonly now that we basically wrote our own that you can use. So here's what this says, and I'm not going to read it word for word because I don't want to, just would prefer not to, but here's essentially what it says. An escalation clause is, let's just say it's a $400,000 house that we're making an offer on, and that's where we're going to start our offers. To say, hey, your house is listed at $400,000. We're going to offer you $400,000 for the house. We're going to attach an escalation clause with our offer. Now, this escalation clause is essentially going to say, look, the top dollar that we're willing to pay for your house is $420,000, for example, right? You would have figured this out between your agent and your client. So the top number that we're willing to offer is $420,000. So what's going to happen is if someone offers more than our offer, right? We're at 400. As soon as someone offers you 401, hypothetically, our offer is automatically going to increase to 403. Now that increment could be whatever you want it to be. Again, essentially, this is eBay, everyone. This is actually not that creative of an idea. So you could say, hey, look, we're going to increase our purchase price or our offer by $1,000 increments as soon as someone beats our offer. So we're in at $400,000. Someone says, hey, I'll give you $402,000 for that house, like we're actually at an auction. And then they're like, okay, cool. So our offer automatically then goes to 404. and so it increases by $2,000, right? And then as soon as someone says, we're going to give you a 405, our offer goes to 407. And essentially this happens until we reach our max dollar, which is $420,000. And if someone offers 421, well, we immediately drop out because we've said, hey, look, our highest and best offer that we're willing to do is $420,000. Now, I feel like that's pretty pretty simple to understand. If it's not, chime in the comments. I'm doing my best, guys, because I'm slugging down bourbon like it's going out of style, So let's talk pros and cons of this, okay? The pro, and it's really the only pro that I see, is that you might get that $400,000 house that you were willing to go to $420,000. You might get what you deemed as $420,000 house for $410, let's say, right? Because maybe the highest offer that came in was $408, so you increased to $2,000 and you went to $410, and you were like, we got it, right? You're like, well, we were willing to go to $420, but we got it in at $410, right? So we actually saved $10,000 compared to what we were in our hearts and minds, what we were prepared to spend, and bank accounts prepared to spend. That's the only upside, is that you might get a house that you are willing to pay more for less. Let's talk about the cons, because I see more cons than I see positives. So the first thing is that, now for those of you who are like, what's he doing right now? Look, guys, I'm going to shoot you straight. I put a whiteboard behind the camera, right? And it's got notes and just little bullet points of things that I wanted to talk about on this. So now that you know all my secrets, here you go. Con number one, not all agents and not all listings are going to even accept an escalation clause, right? If I say in Utah, frankly, I think it's getting less and less common that an agent will even entertain them and accept them. Because I see in plenty of listings, they say, we will not accept an escalation clause. So there's a decent shot the agent on the listing side of it, the selling side of it, is not even going to accept it. The second thing, and these next 2 points kind of go hand in hand, and they're really my main 2 points, which is, one, you just showed all your cards, okay? In poker, this is a terrible, terrible move, right? You just said, hey, I'm telling you right now, we're willing to go to 420, right? I'm offering you 400, that's what you're asking, right? But I'm already telling you, we're willing to go to 420. We'll give you the 420 for it. So you just showed all your cards, right? So there's really no negotiation left, because you just said, well, this is the top amount that I'm willing to spend. And so point number 3, which is really con number 3, like, this is just so logical to me. Why wouldn't the listing agent just counter you at the number that they know that you're willing to spend, right? So I'm the listing agent, right? Offer comes in and they're like, okay, cool, they're offering us 400 grand, and here's this escalation clause that says, well, they'll go up to 420 grand. So as a listing agent, why wouldn't I just come back to that buyer and just say, I'm going to submit you a counter offer at $420,000, and we're going to skip the back and forth negotiation, because the reality is, I know you're willing to spend $420 because you already put it in the escalation clause. So I'll just give you a counter offer at that. What are you going to do? Say no? I already know you're willing to spend it. Why would you say no? You already agreed that you would go that high. So it's kind of a goofy thing. Now, I know maybe some... Ben, can you come over here, please? You're just all kinds of in the way. Now, I know maybe some super savvy real estate people with fancy cars, maybe they're going to chime in below, and they're going to be like, well, Jake, you're not getting this. Look, first things first, I'm not claiming to be the expert of all experts here. What I'm telling you is, hey, look, I'm a working real estate agent. This is what I do on a day-to-day basis, and in addition to making videos for you guys. And I'm just saying, look, I see giant flaws in the strategy of an escalation clause. Maybe you guys see more upside, I see more downside. Why wouldn't you just, as a buyer, just say, look, I'm just going to come in, in a competitive market, I'm just going to offer you my highest and best offer, and let's just, whatever, we'll bleep that. Roll the dice and let's just see what happens, right? That's what I would do. I would just go in, put your best foot forward, skip the escalation clause. You're playing this nickel and dime game of eBay for homes, and maybe we get it for $3,000 less, but a smart listing agent is just going to say, I'll just counter your full price offer that I already know you're willing to spend because you wrote it on a piece of paper that I just reviewed with my buyers. That's what I would do if I was a listing agent. And really, it's not a dick move because you put it in writing, dude. That one's on you. So that's my 2 cents on escalation clauses. Not the end-all be-all opinion on planet Earth, but hey, it's just my 2 cents. So everyone, here's the deal. Here's what you should know at the end of the day. My business 1911 Syndicate, we do help a lot of buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. We operate in a lot of different places. I am here in Utah, but we do operate in many other states. We've got deals in quite a few different states that are happening right now, and we would be happy to help you. So you can go to 1911syndicate.com. You can always check that out. We'll have it linked below. And then the second thing, and really this is the last thing, if you enjoy this channel, maybe subscribe to it. It's pretty simple. It's just one button. You click it, and then you're subscribed. No big deal. This is no big deal, right? And if you really like this, you can actually hit the thumbs up on the video. And if you're feeling ambitious, you could comment down in the comments because we actually read them and we reply back to you, especially if you do have a question. We will make sure we get back to you. So I hope everyone's well. I hope you've enjoyed your day and didn't have a stressful day at work. Pet your dogs, enjoy a drink, have a nice steak tonight, everyone. We'll see you next time.